Still into the post part we go. Valin doesn't set his sight towards a player.
Turns the flash. Gun advantage, health advantage. And of course he falls. The mind game's being played and the shots come through for Aspas.
Well, it's starting to feel a little bit more like G2+2 because they have won every pistol round in this series. And for those keeping track at home, that is 4. G2 with a bounce back on what really should have been Leviatan's map. That breeze showing from them was incredible.
Yeah, no, they did a fantastic job of shutting down Aspas, not allowing them to get a lot of value with the operator. Of course, their own defensive side was super explosive on top.
I think for anyone that was still a G2 doubter, this is such proof of the level this team is at. Their breeze, I think, was probably the biggest weakness in their map pool, not looking super great.
Yeah,
with
they
that
got owned the last time
comp.
versus
Yeah,
Lev.
it was like 13. They were kept in single digits by Leviatán. But now they come out with a brand new comp with some fantastic ideas, and they dominate Lev to recover in this series.
Yeah, and they've obviously been working on their breeze over the course of the last few weeks, but now we get to see it come out, and what a time to show it. Trent, someone who, for me, was a big standout over the course of this series. He looked very, very good. It's already someone we're picking up as a bit of a star on this squad.
And honestly, the way that he converted in this third round, this is the bonus round, he's in a 1v2, is able to pull out the dart and use that as a distraction because he knows one person has to turn to break that. They're thinking he's going to go for the spam through the Viper wall, but he just peeks through it like an absolute Chad, and they go on to win the first five rounds in a row.
Yeah, it was an incredible start from this G2 squad. You were talking about the pistol rounds earlier. It was those early wins and that bonus round conversion that got that momentum, courtesy of Trent. But really, I think the thing to walk away from and talk about here is how good G2's ideas were with this Astra comp. I think on both sides of the map, they had incredible implementation of it, you know, on their defense, having a lot of really cool set plays. On their attacking side, shutting down Aspas. It was lovely.
Yeah, I think especially there was a few of those like early round moves, right, where they were able to find those ideas, whether it was a smoke and a Yoru getting active.
Because there were quite a few occasions where Valorant in a post plant doesn't actually have like any Astra util. They're always dedicated to setting Icy up to have impact on that Yoru.
Yeah, and I wanted to look at a couple of rounds in particular here of this setup, right? Because I think on the defensive side, they had these aggressive looks, but they also have a lot more passive looks where they're playing around that suck. This is one of those really forward things. It's a flash combined with that suck, and then the dart is coming in late once everyone already stuck.
They're trying to hide in a smoke, and the dart pings them.
And then this is another bit of value, right? That Astra global control means you can play anti-KO setups with the suck on either side of the map. Normally, it's kind of a gimme round for attackers. When you pop that KO ult, either the Cypher or the Viper is offline, you're always having additional stall utility. So consistently on that attacking side, Aspas was rarely getting value on the exec because the stall and the setups from G2 were so good, and that continued on the attack.
Yeah, when you switch over to the attack, then was really where I think the power of it once Aspas got the operator, because he wasn't getting kills with the op, especially early in rounds. And it's because G2 really took their time. And by combining the Viper orb right outside of double doors, that shut down Aspas' ability to fight through that lane, and then using Astra smokes in halls or the pullback stars outside of B main or A main when they're execing so that they can scale out on either side and remove those initial lines of contact that Aspas was trying to hold. He really struggled to find value on those initial picks.
We saw like those deep Astra smokes inside halls, really very good at keeping somebody there, like pulling people over to that particular lane and kind of stretching the defenders a bit more thinly.
It adds so much more depth than you normally get on the attacking side. Generally, you're playing this with the solo Viper as your one controller, so you're pretty committed to either be going for splits or just hard executes because you just don't have the tools to.
And you kind of give it away with the wall, right?
Yeah, and it's a lot harder to like explore options in the halls, explore kind of setups where you're early taking mid control, then pivoting back. Astra gives you that flexibility, and Valen called around it beautifully.
And it's because when you're playing defense, right, one of the really important things you need is forward information. That's how you call around of defense. You need your jet on a forward line, whether that's halls or double doors or outside one of the mains. And because G2 were not just shutting down the operator from getting kills, but shutting down those lines of vision, every time Aspas is trying to hold an angle, there's smokes coming into his eyes. Leviatán just didn't have the info they needed to be able to call around.
So coming out of Bind, we were kind of scared for G2. We thought, okay, Breeze is probably a given for Leviatán. That means that Icebox, which again is a map that both of these teams have had success on, might be the decider. But now we're getting to the tail end of this series, or at least the the meat of it with Icebox and Lotus still to play.
Genuinely, winning Breeze is a complete lifesaver for G2, right? That was one of the 2 maps that they had lost previously against Lev, and now they're going into what should be their best map out of the remaining 3 against Leviatán. It's a map they've looked good on recently. Remember that game against Crew where they dominate with a great game plan, and Leviatán have been struggling in their last few showings.
Yeah, they absolutely have. Leviatán, I'm wondering if we do get any change up here. We've seen them previously kind of just attempting to go for just the old school Harbor Viper that Loud is kind of the only other team still running. It's a map that I think they've struggled to find their full ideas with, but we get a little spoiler there. I see maybe a Sova in the mix too, maybe getting more on the page with these kind of Gecko Sova ideas, which is what G2 has been so good at.
It would certainly be interesting because I think that Harbor could actually have a little bit more value for them against the style that G2 has been showing lately, which is that heavy flood back into sight.
They might keep the Harbor though and then just go mirror against G2.
Sure, yeah. I think having like Harbor ideas to sort of give you that second wave of smokes and the slow especially would make it a lot harder on that A site because G2 love to flood 2-3 players out through heaven every single round on their A retakes. The Harbor wall could really throw a different look in there against them.
Let's talk about implications for Leviatán. We thought Breeze was going to be a gimme. They got dominated here, and we saw some rough stuff from them mid-rounds where we're swinging out into mid, individual players taking timings, and it looking a little uncoordinated. That was a Leviatán that was kind of out of whack. This map, they're going to need a big recovery.
And that was what we sort of saw from them in their series yesterday, right? Against Crew. 3 halves in a row. They're all out of sorts.
Early days of this season, those were those same issues, and I'm kind of fearful of seeing that crop up again.
Yesterday, they rallied around Osbos with some ridiculous performances, getting his team back into the game. He's going to have to show up again, sort of rally those troops if it's similar scenes in their camp.
And we've seen him be a monster on Icebox. Rentage and Select, it's that same comp we've talked about before with this Gecko and Silva. G2 are excellent at it, especially on their defensive side with the flood retakes and those reclears.
I do think I want to see Leviatán take some advantage with more contact plays because there's no Jet on the opposite side, because they do like to play a little bit more passively. I do want to see a Lev that are more willing to play slower rounds and creep into that space before exploding. Think how they played their bind. Very slow early rounds and then popping on.
Here it is, your comps are laid out for you now, and map number 3 is there for the playing. Let's head back down to your casters. It's Brennan's Sideshow.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, really getting into the thick of things here with this series. Best of 5, 1-1 between both these teams. Unexpected, honestly, as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Each taking their own map pick, and or the opposing map pick, I should say. And now we're heading into Icebox. This one's an interesting one. I'm going to be paying close attention, I think, to individual players. Mainly Leaf. This guy's been dominating on the Killjoy whenever he gets access to it. Mainly down to the maps, I think, as well, because G2 are very comfortable on this Icebox.
They certainly are. It's looked like one of their better maps that we've seen, but their map pool's so difficult to put your finger on at this point.
It is, yeah.
They've been evolving all throughout playoffs. But last time we saw G2 play, you remember the kind of plays that they were going for? 4 stacking over towards A, getting Leaf the Killjoy deep into A nest. And those were specific anti-strats, always farming the ult orb. That was specifically anti-ing Crew. That doesn't really work against what Lev are bringing in here. They have shock mollies, and they're going to go for a B split on the pistol.
The preparation has run deep so far. Why would it stop now for Lev? Looking to overwhelm this position, but it's all being called and collected. Corralling up these players. Jonah P delivers at least 2. Worried about his back, but his teammate has it. Icy with a dizzy and a repeat. I know where Mazzino is.
You did good.
Seeking to put them down here. A lot of isolated fights being taken. It's Con winning 1 versus Icy, but Trent catches the rotation. And with that, essentially the round should be over. Still, anything could happen on the pistol. Upgrade acquired.
And there's still a minute left here, Brent. So there are actually chances for Com to try to isolate some picks. They've completely lost information.
They don't know where
he's playing. No, they have no idea. So that does give him chances to hit a timing. And that kind of variance is always going to favor the player that's down in terms of numbers.
Slow and steady now.
And again, all of this utility is kind of meaningless in situations like this because you don't want to give away exactly where you are.
Exactly.
On both sides.
30 seconds left.
Trent is positioning. Oh, it's a game of timings. I think it's been won out, yeah, by Trent. The G2 squad. Enough damage really done there. Pretty good read of how to dismantle that one when you go into the B split. Punish for the creativity on Icebox.
Definitely. But I also want to point out that G2 did the same strategy again, where they're doubling up against Aspas's entry. Look at that. He swings Aspas alone into 2 players of G2. Yep. Keep that in your head, because that has been happening all the time throughout playoffs. It's how they shut down Oxy. It's how they shut down Kesnit. And it might be how they shut down Aspas as well. He was limited to only 2 first bloods and 4 first deaths on Breeze. That's not the kind of numbers you expect to see from the superstar player of Leviatán.
The Dawn and a Cascade ricocheting. Able to take that front B main control. G2 posting back up. Look at this from Jonah P. I mean, tucked to the side.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of teams being very stubborn around their positioning towards yellow.
And Aspas has activated it, looking for a fight. Ordo in his face. Jonah P. Surely you're going to evade this one. You're the one with the rifle. Backs away now, retreating. Mosh pit. Be any follow-up with that. Lev on their eco, looking to get a plan down as well, so the extra money is available, but wrong crosshair, wrong positioning here. G2 cleaning up the stragglers.
Yeah, making this one fairly clean. Com's going to go for that post-plant flank, something that he loves doing on maps like this. But caught by the alarm bot, shut down by Trent.
Yeah.
Good awareness, and only Mazzino left.
Where's the player left? They're still min-maxing the ult.
Yeah.
You know, the Icy's like, what, 4 away, 3 away now, I suppose. Even closer now that he went down, but...
So, again, if you're keeping track at home, that is G2 with another pistol round win. Leviatán are yet to win a pistol. It is so difficult to win series of any type, frankly, if you're not winning pistol rounds. It's because it gives you that excellent beginning to the half, the opportunity to snowball. You're more likely to have your ults online as well because you're getting more of the kills.
Enemy remaining.
And here, G2 have that opportunity to capitalize once more. It's 4 players over towards A. This is a strat they ran against Crew where they push somebody into Nest. Look at that ping on the minimap, though. Lev already thinking about it.
What are you expecting it? They know Leaf's been doing this one. This was their bonus round strat last time. Exact same playbook. High Tide whips its way across there, cutting away the available positions of these Lev players. How does Leaf choose to play this one? I mean, doesn't exactly have long-range weaponry, but still Com will fall. This is some trying to find it. Did they spot that one? Oh my God, Leaf will not be able to escape.
So 1 for 1, and now I think Lev should have a great understanding of how many G2 players there are around here. I mean, they've got to know that this was a very heavy stack, but they don't really have info on the rest of the map. Valen's in a very committed position here, looking to try to win the round out himself.
No one's there to play off him. That is nice by Tex. Wasn't really holding the crosshair placement for it. Still adjusts in time. 2 players towards the back of the site. I think this would cause a bit of a pause for Lev, but I actually want to commit the ult instead and just try and clean up these players. Make it nice and easy now. Still 2 left. Trent finally stunned up, holding his ground, finally falling.
And they know that the final player was behind. Jonah P broke the turret, so they'll be super aware of this kind of stuff.
Making a bit of noise as well. Top of the ropes, Mazzino. Flexing on us a little bit.
So Lev chose to have a really kind of safe opening to the round as soon as they realized that G2 were fighting over A. That high tide coming through, indicating that there was a fight to be had, but Com just gets unlucky in that spot. But they still managed to get the punish onto Leaf, and they don't start that kind of massive snowball that we saw in the game against Crew, where Leaf was going crazy. He was picking up the Outlaw constantly and dominating with it. He's got that weapon again, but everyone on Lev has full armor.
They're very aware.
Yeah, I think you can see here that Lev have done their homework.
This is basically the same playbook, I think, for G2 on the defensive half. When they get the Outlaw in Leaf's hand, locks down the sight line into mid. Just with brute force, though, making sure that they can take this A side. Look at it, not even worried about a high tide. Already passed it, contacting. Using the drone to make sure that everything's cleared. G2 going to be fully off the sights here. Not sure what they've got up their sleeves to see if they can delay and deny this plant. Mazzino inside the cove really does hide where the spike is going to be planted.
He also didn't take any damage somehow, not quite sure.
And King wants to fight forwards. I mean, Leaf rips it away. What a shot to the brain. Mazzino, he's there right when it matters, but eventually dropped anyway. Still got 2 players. Still play a disadvantage. Here for Leviatán, going to be playing now. Forcing out his ultimate with Aspas falling. It's all down to Tex. Up onto the high ground. Icy already spotted. He's got to know that nobody was on it, but G2, that's a clean flood attempt right back into things.
Lev knew that G2 were going to go for the flood. That's why you saw Mazzino and Com, I believe it was, swinging aggressively into backside. The problem was, Aspas wasn't with them. Tex was back, playing over towards the post plants. it just didn't look as coordinated. They clearly know that G2 are a flood defending team. But here, when King and Com fight with Mazzino, 3 of them fighting forwards, but they don't quite deny it in the way they're looking for.
Yeah.
Nice! Yo, I'm a menace with this weapon, bro.
It's so true. He is a menace with this weapon, and he's going to keep it into the next round, where now everybody on Lev is a one-tap.
Absolutely going to be getting value. Leaf loves to go for his deep pushes. Down the tube occasionally. This time he will hold his ground, which is the top section of Boiler.
G2, though, are going to use this round to get up to massive ultimates that can be used for retakes and all sorts of other things. I mean, the combination of the Harbor ult and the Sova ult is a menace on its own, and then Icy's one away from Thrash, so... Yeah. If Lev were able to put together some kind of Thrifty, this would be the perfect timing. But more likely, G2 are going to look to try to mop up this B hit as it comes through. They're headed towards Leaf, who again has got that Outlaw. Everybody is one shot, one kill.
The smoke's in his face though with a high tide. Packages it up. I mean, Lev going for a pretty similar play. They did this one round 2, seeing if they can take control of all of the intersections of the site. Good awareness, Aspas. Time to come alive from him with the Guardian in his hands. A few shots rattled away. Only the one casualty. Hunter's Fury, good connections. The tech's falling. Comes down to these big moments, and Aspas. Again, it has to be him to step up to this challenge. Ult. Fused, reckoning inside the cove. King takes the fight towards him. Will not get away with it though with his life. Mazzino, high tide. Up in their faces. How do you deny this one? A quick tap as well. They've only got bullets. They're gonna have to get lucky indeed. Body blocking the first layer of things. Valen sticking all the way. Earned his half. Round aside. Jonah P seeks to deny.
And G2 with plenty of time are going to mop that one up. Lev also invested some really big ultimates in there. They thought they had a chance to be able to win it. And another thing that I'm noticing is Aspas is playing for the late round. He's on Jet, and he's frequently been the second to last or last player alive in these situations. That doesn't seem sensible to me. He's got the tools to fight forwards. He's got the aim to maybe create you advantages in these spots, but he's not being able to find his moments to take those duels. Instead, it was people like King there looking to try to make the play with his frenzy inside the cove. Leaf keeps the Outlaw again, refuses to part with this weapon, even though it's once more full armor for Lev.
Walls propped up on either side. The trouble is with the Outlaw conditioning as well. I mean, it does force you to buy full armor. I don't think any util is going to be missing from Lev, but
it just means you're more likely to get ecoed, you know, an extra 1 time, maybe 2 times over the course of the attack arm.
Yeah.
Or over the course of the game, I suppose. Lev looking to try to take front A control at the same time as lurking people up B, and it's rewarded. King picks off Jonah P, who was looking to go for the rotate.
Jonah's drop, that's going to be calling now for the rotate. I mean, Aspas actually breaking the drone.
Yeah, and
it's pulled 2 players back.
They can pivot in either direction. G2 have got a very spread defense going on here, and Lev just looking to try to punish them for over-rotating. It's worked a treat, but you've still got to convert in this spot, and it's not like they're grouping up for a massive player advantage. This is only a 3v2 for Lev on site right now.
Exactly. It comes down to seeing if the shots can get hit and nailed. Com there, still holding for the walker. Mazzino just goes down to it. Don't know where he is with a spike drop down as well. What a critical mistake now here. The G2 players see if they can hold their ground. Reckoning. This will supplant them. Supplement at least for them to try and get the fight going. Forwards, not expecting that Com could be onto that angle already. 12 seconds. They're barreling over them. Has to be brute force, Valen. A nasty transfer.
Spike planted.
Lease of life. King snaps it back around. It could have been anyone's game in the final moments.
Crazy hero play there by Valen, shut down by King. Both IGLs going tete-a-tete in terms of the calling and also the rifling towards the end. And King getting the better end of it in both departments actually in this round. Opening things up, closing things out.
Down A.
Playing them like a fiddle.
Remaining.
That doesn't mean it was easy, not by any means. And actually, all of that eco damage is still going to affect things for Lev. They're forced to buy full armor because they're worried about Leaf's Outlaw. And as you were talking about, Brent, it does put a strain on the economy. You can't see it just yet, but Aspas has the Blade Storm, and one of the players on Lev is probably going to have to take a Bulldog or something. Can't get that rifle online. Either that or the light armor, of course.
But adjustments need to be made here for Lev.
Well, you say that, but at the same time, they actually had a really good game plan going into the start of that round.
Yeah.
You know, the take of the front of A while double lurking with Tex and King over towards B, that found success. It got them the pick onto Jonah P. And I think, you know, it's G2 here that are actually taking the time out. What they were doing, the rotating based on where Lev were looking to commit, going for the flood defend, they're worried that that might not work out as well. The big thing that I keep thinking about is that we're not seeing Aspas set up on super aggressive post plant positions. That's what I was expecting to see watching them play Icebox. I've watched Aspas dominate on this map so many times by once he gets his team in a position to put the plant down, he's looking to fight people as soon as they're coming through choke points. We haven't necessarily seen that as much, or at least he hasn't been able to find his timings.
Up and over though, Leaf still holding it with the Outlaw.
Yeah, and King does not rebuy full armor here.
Everybody's grouped up. Surely they hear this one from the sound cues as well with that mid control the G2 have gained and gathered. Deep push as well onto the flank. So Leaf, if he gets one and gets out, maybe could be looking quite ideal. Still Cove propped up, hung with the wall. Going to be escaping and evacuating, waiting for the rest of his team. Says he didn't see anything, but now it's time for the Thrash at least, sending it forwards and flying. So
Cascade, cut off the front of the line.
It did indeed. And now that flank timing, it pays off massively. Right from behind, but they need to kill at least the crucial targets. It's King who's got this pit state. Right back up, Aspas into the back of sight.
Lovely reaction here to fight aggressive in the post plant.
And Leaf knows it. He's got to try and back away here. There's the three players that he's being accosted and assailed onto a position. Aspas, this guy is deadly. Just trying to run them all the way down. They flipped the map almost entirely. Time ticking.
They left King, and King can actually defend the defuse.
Time is ticking. King still with a snake bite. Pit will fall. I think they've done enough, surely. Positioning out of nowhere. Hunter's Fury. Forced out of com. He doesn't even know if he doesn't have it. It's a classic in the face. What the hell is going on?
And I mean, technically, that is a Red Bull clutch from Com there. But I think it's King who delays long enough and stays inside his pit. Those players from G2 who are running through, they just didn't have the health to go for the defuse in that spot.
Yeah,
they're getting chunked down the whole time, and then there's a snakebite laid on top. That was a wild round, but it all starts because G2 do a triple push down mid and then cascade off the turret. So as they come through the flank, Lev call a really nice reaction to go forwards with Aspas, who was playing those aggressive positions. And that was what I was criticizing Aspas for not doing enough. That round pays off amazingly. That's why Lev need to be getting active in those post plants.
Looking to run it back again over towards A.
Well, they have the lockdown for it if they wanted to invest that kind of stuff. G2 dropped onto a bit of an eco. Icy's actually full invested. So that's a bit of a weird one.
It's a weird one, right, with the money.
Definitely strange.
2 rifles. Will they choose to use the ults? Valen's holding at least a bit of utility. Cascade forwards. Wall up as well in their faces. Gonna be stunting that first wave of the utility that Lev are just using to see if they can gain any space over towards the A side, and they call for a rotation anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen Dizzy, you've seen Recon, you've seen Cascade, you've seen Killjoy utility. You know it's a stack. Well, they didn't have the lurk to be able to go quickly over towards B, but
Jonah P.
Still sending it into Jonah.
Yeah, orb up, make sure that he can make his escape, but not quite actually. Choose to post back up over towards the yellow box.
And if it was a rifle round, maybe he could rip the ult here, but instead he goes for the fight over towards yellow. Dies though. And
take risks.
On top, aggressive positions, paying off.
And everybody's been chopped up here on the G2 side of things. Shot darts. Push back the plan at least. Revealing here. Only 2 players from G2 to really do anything, any form of damage. Hello. Where's Valen pulled that one from, but you need a few more potentially. Are they going to double up now and try and take this one? Fight together, Valen. A decent job of things. I was hoping for a bit of a better gun. Lev, not willing to let this one slip. Already pushing way ahead of the high tide. Doubled up together.
A great call by Common Text there to try to take the fight forward into Valen. Would have been much harder if they got locked off by that Harbor util. I think this adaptation has been nice from Lev. The tack timeout for G2 was called, understanding that they were actually losing the strategic battle, even if that wasn't reflected in the score. And G2 have not been able to really recover.
Death is cold.
The triple flank was a great attempt in round 7. And now we have another chance for G2 to stabilize things. It's 4-4 right now, but Lev, they're the ones that are making the adaptations and looking like they've got the answers.
And it all begins and starts always at this A side, just an exchange again with the walls. A few bullets raining down.
And this is a weird one, right? Because both teams have lockdown, both teams have harbor ult.
I mean, Mazzino with the Reckoning, did they want to use a lockdown for the post?
Yeah, you're looking to try to use lockdown here for the retake, but Lev will try to deny it. Aspas is already on top of screens.
Yeah. Finding forwards.
So G2, they need to be investing harbor ult here to even... Oh, I was going to say to get the lockdown into position, but they choose a passive one.
Used in kind, pound for pound. Respect going to be shown.
Yeah, and this doesn't get G2 the space that they're looking for. Everyone on Lev is still going to be on site here. This harbor ult has got to be massive from Valen.
Take it back up again once more. Reckoning has to clear its way through here, but a stun's connecting. Comms there, spray not quite online for King. Still Aspas high ground, backs himself away. Putting this one into the 3v3. Already Nano Swarm deaded off. Icy on the defuse.
The Nano
At least
Swarm
with the wingman, it did miss, but denying at least the wingman. Still, they got to know the wall. The position has to be guarded. The G2 surely doing it. No way! Tex! That's monstrous.
Obvious the position of the diffuser, but under enormous pressure from the other two players who were seeking to defend Trent. What incredible aim there from Tex to be able to deal with both of those bodyguards. And hit the Red Bull clutch. That's 4 in a row there for Lev. Oh, and the timing.
Final bullet, man. Final bullet. Yeah, that is ridiculous. 0.22 milliseconds away. Tiniest of differences to decide that round.
Double ults used by G2 as well in that spot. But they still have one to work with. This is a very light buy. And these rifle rounds have been super close. But Lev are taking them. And then they're also being able to convert the follow-up. Here, Jonah.
Oh my god, damage.
Good damage, but he's going to get flanked right now.
Surely not. I mean, yeah, doesn't get out. Whoa. Okay, the Bulldog could be unruly, don't get me wrong, but...
Put a leash on that thing.
Yeah, Com eventually secures the kill with it.
As Lev decide to rotate back over to A, though, they're going to be looking towards Valen. They're probably not going to want to use utility here to give away the fact that they've made that rotation. But they are pinging it out, looking to just clear it.
He's got too much to worry about. His head spotted as well with a jump up. Yep. Easy pickings.
Nice contact clear of that spot.
Lev are going to be so aware of just those deep push plays. I mean, GT were doing it all the time. Last time they ended up playing Icebox. Splash the way this guy moves around the map. Look at this.
I love this.
Playground for him.
I love how much more aggressive and confident Aspas looks compared to the first kind of 4 or 5 rounds where we were watching him. He's finding those timings to press the advantages.
I see Sheriff in hands, but revealed by the dart gives him the perfect follow-up. The lead now, more than steadily being accrued. I mean, Lev, like you said, they've been winning the gun rounds and they've been winning these anti-ecos relatively cleanly. Great ideas in terms of how they want to play this map.
G2 have tried a few different ways of mitigating this. They've tried to push players into aggressive positions. They've looked for a triple flank over towards mid. None of it's really been working. I think that the triple flank through mid was the closest to finding success. Getting that cascade onto the turret, but do you really want to go for something like that again? Here, they can rely on Trent using the Hunter's Fury, but Com is going to look for a pick at the start of the round. He does this almost every time he has the Sova ult. Drones, if the drone gets attack, he insta-ults. But this time, everybody from G2 respecting that drone, knowing what's coming.
No dice. Heavy stack though from G2.
And disguised as well, because they didn't see anything with the drone.
Completely dodged it. Leaf. Oh, slight awareness there, just in time. Brings down Tex, still that. Oh, it will find a target into the corner of the site. Still evading that one for Valen. Nano Swarms causing some issues, vulnerability as well as that. Aspas forced to retreat, and a call to pivot is made. Jonah P. Surely going to be hearing some of this one now and expecting at least some presence. But does he know where these players are coming from? Getting that game of timing.
Yeah, both so quiet here, the Vipers.
Footsteps though, heavy presence by Mazzino, running his way along. He's going to be confident making the call, but doesn't know if they've already at least got themselves around. Vulnerability applied by the snake bite, forcing at least him off the spike plant.
Com and King could both win the round independently here.
Comes down to it.
Mazzino's got no help.
Learns Mazzino, he still can't get this plant down. King finds it, plucks him out, but the Hunter's Fury will follow it anyway.
Unusual position for someone to get caught by that, and look at this. Com going for the same flank he just went on again.
Just flanks on flanks, Com.
The school of always be flanking.
Exactly, this time switching it up here, but Mazzino already rips away the life of Leaf. Trent follows it up onto Aspas, still 2v2, damage done. Wingman defusing, they can free up their guns now, they can watch this one in a different direction, and Com forced to reveal himself. Dart, it's there. Still the onus being onto G2, but for now, Com is not on the position, and Icy knows it, sticking it.
Great awareness there from Icy, knowing that Com couldn't stop that from happening.
Last round.
5 to 6, doesn't even opt into the duel, doesn't give Com any chance of clearing it. That round, though, could have been super different if Lev had just broken the wingman.
Yeah.
If those bullets had landed on the little bro, Com could have had a great chance there, because they really didn't know that he was coming from kitchen. This round got crazy.
It did.
One enemy remaining.
G2 weathered the storm, though. Doesn't matter how crazy it got. Got that round win.
And that's super important, because that breaks what would have been a 6-round win streak. And now Lev do something completely different. Almost looking like that pistol round play, I think it was, where they B-split.
Yep, same strategy it looks like being employed. It's going to be walls up in their face. A lot of footsteps. Don't have B main control. Ult's flying forwards. That's a thrash. Going to be getting that connection. Tex is blinded. It's going to be isolated here. Revealed up by this dart. Lev really looking like it might be falling to pieces, but Aspas is so aggressive already. They didn't expect him onto that kitchen angle. Blade Storm ripped out.
And this is the win condition for Leviatán. Get aggressive, get active with Aspas.
How do they find the rest of these kills? Jonah P just trying to play his life. The rest of G2 moving together. Thrash. Round 2 this time. King. A few shots fired. They know that he's under there, but how do they fight it out? Is he dealt with? Dropping down. Trade online. 3v3 still. They've got a lot more to clear than that. Wingman on the defuse. Has to be broken. Snake by Shotdown. What game are we watching? What game are they playing? There's no gunplay in the works. Already got half, I believe, onto it. Aspas! Not enough with the Blade Storm pull. Trent shuts him down before he can really get going. And that finalizes it at 6 to 6 for the half.
Back and forth, just like Bind. Super close here between these two teams. A late resurgence there from G2 to be able to get 2 retakes towards the end. Otherwise, Lev were running away with things. They just couldn't quite find enough in this final moment. Look at this shock molly on the fly. It's so good.
Yeah.
Mazzino just has no clue that that was coming towards him.
Last player standing.
Very impressive.
Trent sitting at 17 to 6 right now. Leading it for his team as well. Hero moments paving the way to make it that nice equal 6 to 6. Let's send it down to the desk to break it all down so far.
Thank you very much, Brent and Josh. Look, we expected Icebox to be a hotly contested map in general. It's another pistol round loss for Leviatán. Like
5 out of 5 now.
They are racking them up. They bounced back really well from that, though, and they threatened to actually run away with a half at first.
Yeah, the start of that was really defined by, I think, again, G2's game plan. They play a lot of these rounds into the Flood retake towards A, and they were really punishing Lev. But Lev won a couple critical clutches in the late round to get rolling and found a massive streak of rounds to recover.
Yeah, it started with this round right here where they flipped the map against a triple flank and then somehow end up winning it. Even though they lose all of their players, time is working against them. Frantically, you've got Com running over into mid, trying to get the ult off, but at this point, he'd already won the round with the amount of stall that was put on the site because of that Viper's Pit.
Yeah, it was really lovely stuff, honestly, within the chaos. And this is what, when you look at Lev, you see these names, you see the experience of this team. These are the moments you expect them to be pulling out, right?
Sure.
You see G2 with probably a stronger macro idea throughout that one, but the individuals step up, you find those pivots, and then you come back into this half.
I don't even know if I would fully agree on the macro idea, because I think Leviatán, the way they played their slower rounds, especially activating the B lurks, right, with multiple players.
But I think we saw a lot more of that after that, like, initial timeout for G2, once they started pivoting that around,
and the reason,
later into the half.
The reason G2 were able to tie it up at the end, though, was great post-plant play, especially Trent. The shout out on him, getting so many kills, but playing those late 2v2s, 3v3s very nicely.
The implications of this map are massive. Whoever wins this one is put up to series point. Only one map away from having a chance into the grand finals. The loser would have to win back-to-back maps, take it all the way to 5 if they want that chance.
They'd have to win Lotus and Ascent back-to-back, in fact. That is a big ask for either of these two. G2 Esports Leviatán looking to get themselves in pole position. Let's head back to our casters, Brand and Sideshow.
Don't think I could have teed it up better myself, I think, as well, in terms of the overall stakes, really. Yeah, must-win scenario on this map to get that advantage in this best-of-5 here to even stand a chance in the grand finals of our mid-season playoffs. And it begins, as always, Josh, with this pistol round win for Lev. Haven't really been able to get any of them.
No, that makes this one imperative. We need to see that they're capable of taking them away from G2. As G2 run this 1-3-1 default at the start. A little unusual on Icebox. Don't normally see mid-pressure at the very beginning from the attacking team. And on the other side of things, Aspas with a Sheriff pushing up. They used a Cascade to try to get past somebody.
No dash.
No, Aspas, if he looks to try to take a peek, it would be a perfect timing. The turret is faced away, but I think he's just gonna miss the timing.
Oh, yeah, he does. Can't see anything but getting critical information.
Yeah, but he can't really get past this turret at all, can he? So he just has to...
Well...
Can he?
Well, okay. I mean...
He can get deep, but you can't get much further than this.
I think he might be out of range, potentially.
No.
I'm not kidding. It's been pulled back. It's been pulled back anyway. Fox in the pen, this man could really just eat them alive. King seeking to delay. Distraction being called, wingman plant. Surely not being stopped. Final bullet eventually does it. G2 seeming to win this one out, and Aspas now has to become that difference maker. Too many targets. He just can't quite land the shots. Full reload has to be committed. He has done the damage, but no kills collected. Lev finally turning up the heat. But it's answered right back at them. Doubled up. And Gong falls.
An outrageous situation. G2, 6 out of 6 pistol rounds going in their direction. And what a one to showcase as the most recent of them.
I mean, Aspas in that spot. There's a world where he gets, he gets 5 or he gets none there. I mean, I don't know what he walked away with, but at the end of the day, it wasn't a round win.
He got so much damage out, though. Man. He's doing body shots, leg shots, and yet somehow Valen's Ghost comes out true at the end to be able to pick off Comp, who had a couple of softened up targets ahead of him. This is worrying. I mean, if it wasn't already, it certainly is now. However, looking forwards, as Uber set up on the desk, the 2 upcoming maps of Lotus and Ascent, if there was a team to be able to win on both, I suppose it would be Leviatán.
Aspas doesn't overstay his welcome with that one, but risks need to be taken if Lev are going to stand a chance to try and win this. Oh, any punish in sight? Not quite. They're hot on the heels, though, of Aspas, and they are cleaning up these remaining players who are seeking to at least delay and anchor bullets. Just got to fire the tracers with that one. One gets caught out of spot.
G2 with an opportunity to reset, but nobody really posted over the other side of the map. Do they know that all 3 of these players are over towards here? They're just going to double up, triple up, make sure that they have a safe passage back over to the other side. And as I was saying, Brett, I think the next 2 maps coming up, if there was a team here, like Mimi was talking about, that is able to run it back from 2-1 down, I think I'll be looking towards Lev, even if G2 take this, because Lotus is not a map that G2 have been loving to play. And Lev, I think all of their players have just been amazing on Ascent in the past. Yeah. But they don't want to put themselves into that position, and certainly not if it comes because they just can't convert these pistol rounds and keep putting themselves at disadvantages in every quarter, every half.
The crazy thing is as well, even with them, despite losing all of the pistol rounds, they've still been able to take maps. They've still been making it close.
Yeah, take a map. And to be honest, Breeze, the first half was not particularly close, was it? At 9-3.
No, but this one much closer on Icebox, at least for now.
For now.
For now.
Lev, one of the things that I think they were doing really well on their defense side when we saw them play against Crew was find opportunities to take fights and disrupt the plant from happening.
Is Aspas going to be able to get some kills, or what? What's going on here? They didn't really want him to survive. Hello, Aspas. Good kills, actually. This is going to be doing some damage to the economy. Enough to stay alive, though. He's going to be saving that Sheriff into the next. So, the unintended side effect of it, but I think they're not going to be too worried about it.
Are they not?
Well, I don't know. Let's have a look at the money.
Yeah, it ain't good. You don't want to be surviving in that spot.
Yeah.
He popped his dash and didn't dash into them either. Like...
Oh, he jumped. Nice try.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they're saying good job in that situation, but it's actually forced King onto a Guardian. They've swapped weapons so that Aspas can get a Vandal online.
And a heavy fight taken. Dizzy, it's going to be pre-fight here, but Aspas is going to be blinded up. Messino, that supportive element, Just firing down and raining down the bullets of the Phantom, enough to bring down Leaf. Pushing them back though, with Aspas falling.
Drone denied. Yeah. They've got to be very worried about these kind of positions. Super possible that Lev could have inserted another player over towards jail. This is going to tick time off the clock, but Mazzino is going to be so expected here.
Drone cleared. Mazzino already pushed up. Yeah, G2, we're just waiting for somebody to just walk right into the crosshair placement.
Yeah.
Texas time, apparently. Two shine, potentially, but he's missing the shots. Doubled up side by side, him and Com. Com's just trying to get him out of here. Still, bullet tags didn't play enough to slow down Trent, but a spike has been retrieved and now ferried back over towards B.
This round is the personification, if you want to put it like that, of individualism versus the team play. Lev just taking it in turns to take that hero play fight, while G2 shut them down. 3v3 though.
Down against the box, Wingman. Gonna be broken, bullets. Firing through, not enough to deny. G2 are getting themselves into the post plan here. At least the advantage for Lev is that they do have some guns, but they've got to get a move on now. Icy realizing he's got no util to his name, so he might as well try and take the fight forward. It's caught by G2. They stand their ground here for Leviatán. Dismissed them as easily as that.
So 2 Vandals rather than the Guardian saved into this one, but that's a pretty devastating one for the economy of Lev. They only get 3,000 for being able to win this round, and they've lost a ton of weaponry. I think I consider that a great bonus for G2. I mean, let's take a look at what weaponry ends up being online here for Lev. And what this would be a great time for Leaf to bring out the Outlaw, I can tell you that.
It would, I don't think he's going to be doing it though.
A Spectre full armor onto Mazzino. I mean, these are pretty brutal weapons to be forced to use in this spot. But if they can win this, suddenly they have a cushion to work with.
They typically have been good in these gun rounds, even if it is slightly weaker. Nano Swarm. Pre-aimed and broken, so the turret will stay up.
And Leaf's got plenty of these lineups across a range of different maps to try to put pressure on their opponents. Killjoy utility placements.
Thrash available though.
Monster on the loose.
Set loose onto the side over towards A. Everybody giving this one up from the left side.
Com's in position to ult this.
He's playing relatively further back here. Wingman getting the plan down. Out and over. Dart. This plan coming down. Not going to be trying to flip back into this one, but finally with the ults now. Into the back of the side. Trent! Not able to get the one before he's eventually brought down. Everything offloaded now. Overwhelming. Seeing if they can try and fight this one. Thrash has to be respected though. It does pave a bit of a way and place for G2 to potentially win this one, but they're losing the gun duels. Slight tap from Mazzino. Just Icy and Jonah P left though to really stave this one away, and guess what? Jonah P is nowhere near. Slow as it goes here by Lev, but they realize they've got plenty of time now to just pick them apart. Tapping the spike, forcing the players out in the open. And it's a 1 round for them, 8-8. Everybody intact as well.
Very confident from Lev in terms of the way that they committed heavily on that flood defense. Despite the fact that the plant ended up going down, Wingman managed to dodge the first wave of Nano Swarm. But as they push back in with the final burst of this Hunter's Fury, they got themselves into a great spot. Even Valen's Harbor couldn't slow them down.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of things I think that make Lev look good on this map. Their willingness to fight together and flood out through rafters, drop the Viper wall, take the timings and the aggression. It just needs a single person calling it, and they all commit. Those are the rounds that they were winning against Crew and what made them look good on this map. So they have stabilized. Like I was talking about, the eco was looking really rough for Lev, but they've put themselves in a good spot now.
They're not hiding their intent, are they? Making a lot of noise up and over towards the A side. Com gonna let loose at least with a few straight bullets, but the positions are being at least found here from a few of these players. Jonah P finally claimed and taken out, but traded towards the back there by Com. He's doing a significant amount of damage to them, but leaves it into a 2-on-2 rifle. Advantage here for Lev, but it is being whittled down to just this. Aspas versus Trent. Any upgrade inside for Trent. He's going to be repositioning. Swap of the gun. No reload necessary for Aspas, but he's just trying to sniff out where Trent is, and he's lurked himself around the back. Missing each other. Ships in the night. Updraft. And now spots it. Oh, Trent! He can't hit it. Can't claim it. Pistols out in play, but Aspas is the one to really save the day.
Completely whiffed opportunity there from Trent. He had Aspas dead to rights. Sometimes the movement, though, of this guy is impossible to hit.
Yeah.
Aspas wiggles like nobody else when it comes to his jet movement on this map. It really is masterful to watch, but you gotta look at this one and think it should have been G2's to win. They got a perfect A mid
It had
look.
to have been, man. It had
Trent
to have been.
almost had it there in the 1v1. He nailed the timing. Somehow Aspas saves them again, as he does so very often. 20 kills for both of those players that were left in the 1v1.
And now he's really starting to show up, isn't he?
Is this where we see Trent go for his own play with the ult at the start?
Takes got to respect that one with a Nana Swarm, but not expecting it for Aspas here again. Another dash to disengage.
And instead of posting a player up into Nest and letting the play come to them, Aspas forces the duel, kills Leaf, who does normally play a little more aggressive on Killjoy over towards the A side. And now G2 are starting to drive things back over towards yellow, where King is posted up. They have Dizzy to clear this, and a recon will come back online.
Like you said, they should have the util to clear this spot out. The reposition of Mazzino, punished in the moment, but not before he was rewarded with just the one. Dizzy has to be broken, indeed it is. King's still there, but the dart reveals it. And now his position quickly swarmed upon with a wingman to supplement all of it. Pick your targets and choose them wisely still. 3 versus 3.
It's nice.
Fury for Trent.
Yeah, it's nicely done there by G2 clearing out yellow, but now they need
To use it. He's trying to punish a drone that he heard from just the middle of the gut of the map, but he's not getting any tags.
That's a wild play to go for.
It really is. Just off of hearing the drone being used.
At the same time, though,
30
they
seconds
couldn't have
left.
done anything in that time period anyway, because they're waiting for Jonah P's fuel to come back up. They need that next cycle before they can commit to any kind of plant.
Aspas is ready to meet them head on. He's still got an updraft as well.
He's
High ground
definitely
position.
going for this updraft.
Yeah, enemy AC 130 about to kick off. As the wall's there, right round the side, hunting for them, picking them to pieces. Jonah P stands his ground. Few seconds left to spare, but not enough to win the round. It's lost in the moment here for G2. Jonah P recognizing it, having to force that issue out to them. 2-round difference now between Lev and G2. As we're looking at Icebox.
And Aspas really is finding his moments so nicely to have impact. Tucking himself aggressively on A with backup from the rest of the team, finds that opener onto Leaf, and then he's able to get the updraft kill as well. Constantly denying those plant situations. And again, with this composition from G2, they have to commit so much of the Viper fuel just to clear out yellow if King plays heavy in that spot that they then can't plant in the same util cycle. So they need to wait and advise time for Lev to disrupt like this. King again looks like he wants to try to contest them. Burning utility out of them early. Very important for Lev to have advantages in the round. Drone used at this point means no drone to clear him out of yellow. These are all good things for the defense.
King just hears that drone, puts up the orb. The nerves potentially there. Back of these G2 players' heads. Now, putting themselves to a few ults. Calling for a refight, reckoning here. Snakebite dropped. Cove as well. Could this be punished, G2? With an opening onto King. A few bullets spraying him down and praying for Mazzino. Rewarded. High Tide cuts its way across here. Even with the drone and attack. Flank approach from Aspas is right there behind them, seeking to claim at least any people here. Trying to jump spot. Thinks it's clear.
Yeah, he's missed it, but Aspas held back by the alarm bot.
As the wall fades down, so do the chances. G2, how have they got that?
In the midst of all the chaos, Aspas cloud bursted off
30
the
seconds
alarm bot,
left.
but now he's got to get past the turret.
And there seems to be that level of awareness. Leaf dropped, plant,
planted.
down and online. The positioning now tucked its way across, updraft. Or at least the dash used to cut his way through and over, watching for the top position. They know he hasn't dropped off just yet.
He's not thinking about Trent.
Trent just holding for it. Holding for it. First signs of it. And a bullet straight to the brain once more. That's a G2 win in a very unlikely fashion.
Lev chose to use Harbor Ult and to refight over towards B in an anti-eco. They chose to run forwards
I mean, that's
from
so
yellow.
risky, man.
It's crazy risky. I love the idea of going for this kind of play as a one-off on your defense side. But if you're going to pick any round, why not pick an important rifle round where they're not expecting it? Maybe they thought G2 were going to try to get into position to ult them in that spot, and they wanted to preempt it, but As soon as King went down, it looked real dodgy from then on. And now G2 can get into position. Thrash, Lockdown are all amazingly good ults from the spot that Aspas is watching towards right now. They're also usable from pipes over towards A, and that's a spot where Com is looking to take a fight. So both Com and Aspas trying to stop them getting into these positions where they would be looking to ult.
From this spot, seeing the one, deciding what the decision-making might be. Thrash, is he going to claim a target? Any available player that might be sitting there, but it just clears out the side. Making sure that they can take this one. Nana swarms. So they can delay again with the pit. It's going to be dropped down, and this creates some murky territory for Lev to try and fight their way on and through. King wants to take the battle straight to them. Lockdown, though, it's all being layered now by G2 to try and win this one out with the ults that they've got.
They need
and respect
back.
has to be shown by Lev. They have to back, but they don't really have an exit strategy. Not for King at all. They already dropped down onto the site.
This has ticked a lot of time off the clock. Aspas is on the flank again, but I think he just broke turret.
Hand down.
I think he's going to be too late here. This is so tough.
Cove up and over. Where's the pit? Still there. Active onto the side, but Texas brought himself around. Are they just trying to buy the time, like you said, for Aspas onto this flank? Potentially dropping down, seeing it and spotted though. Doubled up in the lower sections of rafters. And Leaf claiming all of these spots in position. I mean, Aspas forced to reveal himself there. It was an easy kill. He couldn't quite give it up. Dart through and around. Jonapi still wins that fight.
And if it wasn't lost already, it certainly is now for Leviatán. G2 with immaculate crossfire setups there, doubled up on the hell to ensure once more that teamwork prevails against that individuality. I also love the fact that Jonah P went for the pit that goes over towards screens. He noticed that Tex was one away from getting lockdown, and he wants to take screens away from the defenders so that they can't possibly get that ult online and go for it. The fact that Tex was one away means that now ults are starting to get online for Leviatán. The problem is, as we head towards the 11th hour here on Icebox, Leviatán have got to take an eco just as they get the ults online to win these big rounds.
Yep.
This is still anyone's game. And arguably, G2 are going to be at an advantage.
Which is crazy to say. I mean, okay, well, G2 winning these pistol rounds.
This guy's actually just a KD8 player. Like, how funny is this?
Throwing it out, dishing it out.
Yeah, I mean, they're roasting Aspas there, I think, being a KD player. Because also, again, on defense, they're not actually leading with Aspas in these situations. To me, it does feel a little similar to the very beginning of this map, where Aspas was playing for the late round and looking to bait his team a little bit to have the big clutch impact that he never really found. And Lev were having the most success when Aspas was finding aggressive timings to fight them, to be the tip of the spear. And they're not really being able to make that work, partly because Aspas is on the opposite side of the map to the hit.
And you're not going to believe me, but another timeout.
Wow.
Back-to-back again being called. I mean, this was Lev and then G2 calling one of their own. I think there's a reason for this being that G2, these two rounds that they've managed to overcome, right? Round 19, round 20 that we just witnessed. Round 19 was off the back of a misplay by Lev. The B main refight, committing the reckoning, they lost it on a thrifty. Round 20 was overwhelming ult advantages. And I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, GT used them intelligently. Like you said, the pit positioning was to try and counteract the fact that they might try and retake with a lockdown. Yeah, that was really the turning point. They don't have it anymore. Yeah. Exactly. They don't have that in the war chest.
Yeah, it's a complex situation for both teams. I think Lev will also be discussing about whether or not they want to try to force in this round. Do you let G2 get up to 11? It's tough. If Lev did try to force, they could get a couple rifles and then like Stingers and Spectres together, but that's a pretty horrible buy to bank everything on, even if it's backed up by a load of ultimates. So let's take a look at what's happening here. Aspas going for the hero rifle.
It's down to 200.
Yeah, while Mazzino also buys down a little. 800 credits is still fine, but it forces him to go without armor. So they've got two hero rifles really in this round, backed up by a war chest of ults, as you put it. It's a weird one here.
I think this is an odd call to make. I really do. But here we go, into the round we go. 10 to 10. Anyone's game here towards Icebox, still 1-1 in a series. Couldn't get more parity.
Mazzino breaks drone. It might look weird that he's fighting this one aggressively, but he's just trying to make it look like there's more players here, trying to puff himself up.
It's a bluff. Mazzino could get overwhelmed at a moment's notice, but Really does make it feel, like you said, there's multiple players there. The only real reason you'd be trying to contest a drone, surely, is if you're being supported by plenty more players. So
Exactly.
that's why it's caused, again, a bit of a pause into the play G2. This is nothing out of the ordinary for them. They love the slow play.
Yeah, and Lev would have been hoping that breaking that drone drove them into A, but it hasn't. They're going for the B-ring.
What is that? The double kill? I mean, he just lets the rifle rip, and it sings true. Connection onto 2 unlikely targets. Here, forward, start. It's going to be broken and backs away from it. He realizes it, that he's potentially made the defining play for the round. Wall up and through. Leave. What is that?
The slow timing is absolutely killing G2 here. Lev can now unload that war chest we were talking about, and there's 20 seconds left.
The spike's got to be planted over here towards B. Hunter's Fury, I mean, maybe mistimed there by Calm, a bit of a tap from Trent. Again, they got to force these players out wide, but the Lev not really giving them anything at all. Tip-tap with the toes and the dancing around all these possible places. 9 seconds left, and with that, that's surely going to seal it.
Outrageous round. Absolutely ridiculous from Lev.
Let's go. I got things to do.
G2 read the macro situation perfectly. They put pressure over towards B at the start. They think there might be a stack there. They go for a re-clear.
No way.
They have hit the weak side of Lev's defense, and Mazzino's ripped 2 heads off instantly. And at that point, the time is just too low. And that's where you see the double-edged sword of G2 playing these slower approaches. If they don't get the space they need when the time is low, it's so difficult to recover. We have Leaf buying a Vandal with no armor, and Aspas going forwards to look to try to challenge him.
It has the money available for it, but instead of just investing, maybe just carrying it into the next. It's a weird spot to be in. Real weird. Aspas. You can play forward here, at least with the drone, but how did G2 clear him? The answer is barely there, labored in the process. Aspas surprised that he didn't potentially get more.
Another hero play by Com, though. He uses the distraction to sneak into position. The drone doesn't even think to clear, I don't think. Surely no question mark there popping up. I don't think it quite had the line of sight, but Trent's going to clear it.
He's watching it. Might see the gun, might see the gun. He hops up onto it, but he was low enough. All it took was the one. Com is stuck here. Mosh pit. Forcing him back and away. Has to be the double face. Icy deals with it, but King is immediately there. Top section of pipes. And he responds with the trade. 2 versus 3 here for G2. Now, slow and steady as it goes, they are forced into a difficult spot. Contact plays. And King, good awareness from him. He's going to drop down this pit. Locks it all out. Funnels them directly into Tex.
30 seconds
But
left.
Tex doesn't win it. Should have been a slam dunk for him. Covert. This will be a safe plant up. Now King. Feeling like he really needs to take the fight to them. Reckoning is going to be forced out. Just to make sure that they get that peace of mind. It's going to be used equally on either side. Mazzino using it, but they can't quite spot these players. And where are the golden trails, King?
Last player
They both fall.
Harbor v Harbor.
Mazzino versus Valen. Cascade forwards. And again, how many of these rounds have come down to these minute timings? It's all about who takes the fight first. Valen surely going to imagine it's got that advantage. Code needs to be bursted, and you can afford to stick this to a degree. Mazzino! Bit of more than he can chew. He will drop down and fall to the rifle in the hands of Valen. And it's 11 to 11. So much damn parity between these teams.
This was madness from the very beginning of this round. You know, Leaf not buying armor. Crazy plays coming out from Aspas and Com there, pushed up towards A. But Lev got themselves into a player advantage and let it slip away from them. There's 2 players now. Valen, coming alive here towards the end of Icebox, is almost matching Trent in terms of output. 22, 23 kills. On the other side, Aspas asked to do it all, but he's on the wrong side for this one.
Double up again because Mazzino, I mean, surely can't deliver it once more. It's a drone and a wingman has to be broken. This caused some patience to be played, potentially by G2, with Jonah P not getting that one. And this entire time, Lev have taken liberties. Aspas, deep push with the Blade Stormy, but set up prior with that drone.
I mean, they're basically playing aggressive on all 3 lanes of the map, clearing out mid whilst fighting over both extremities.
They're trying to push these players into the sideline of Aspas. Oh, by the turret! What? What? No way. When he's tagged up there.
He has to swing so wide to get an angle onto Jonah P. Just fearless from Aspas.
Now Lev should know it, surely. Ah, not broken. King was spotted out with that one. Tagged up. gives Trent that easy kill. You can hear it though, the util being offloaded. Places it down, no plant in sight, different spot for it, locked down. It's going to be utilized here by Lev. They want to clear this one out and away. G2 though, they have to refight, and they know it. Forward to the rifle, spraying, all of them down. Mazzino, he hasn't been taken care of, but at least the lockdown has. And a 2v3, Aspas having that high ground position here, gliding forward. Surely they hear it with all of these sound cues, but it leaves it just down to him, the star player. To make something out of nothing. A magic moment is necessary in this positions of G2. They won't give them anything. Look at this, jumping around. He doesn't even know that Icy was there, ready to collect him.
Up to map point here, G2. 12 on the board. They had these opportunities earlier on, weren't quite able to do it on Bind. Closed out Breeze easily. And Leviatán are going to take a tactical timeout here as we head into round 24, the final of regulation. Looking to make something happen. It's a great opener from Aspas, it really is. But King got caught by the recon dart and B toppled. That's beautiful. Deconstruction of the high-low.
G2 just choosing to fight over that one as well.
Yeah, and I'm afraid to say for any Lev believers, G2 have a huge advantage when it comes to the ultimates as well. During this tac timeout, Lev have got to be discussing how they adjust the macro game to be able to get on top, or some of the micro mistakes that maybe they're making, but they also have to come up with a plan of how to get around the fact that there's a Thresh that could just easily clear out the A side or allow a plant to come down on B, and then Trent also has Hunter's Fury for the post. This just looks like a slam dunk for G2. Coming out here and winning on Icebox, taking away the big jet maps from Aspas, with Breeze and Icebox potentially here back-to-back for G2, our Ascension team who find themselves in the lower bracket finals of the mid-season playoffs.
It's getting intense here. As you said, this lower bracket final. All the way out with the slow play of G2, all these timeouts, the tech pauses even as well. I mean, it feels tense here. There's a bit of that nervous energy, I think, circulating. For G2, though, they should have all the tools they need to convert and get this one over the line. One round will do it, but one round for Lev is all they need to get that extension in play, at least for this map.
I think they have to play aggressive here on the defense side. You can't just allow the Thresh to come through.
And so that's exactly what they're going to be doing. Fighting them forwards. Dizzy doesn't actually connect here. And a kill found. Aspas doesn't get out of there. Thrash, Hunter's Fury. It connects with the Mazzino. The Thrash will clear. Give them that peace of mind. Com. It's a high ground position and he needs the value, but that double peak, there was inevitable really there for him. Valen ripping the head clean off. Tex and King forced to do the most in this spot here, but with G2 in the post. I see you shaking your head, Josh. You already know it's done and dusted.
It certainly looks like it. Icy's even got that second wave of Thrash, but Tex opening things will certainly help. A little bit of spam there.
But like you said, it's the second wave of the Thrash. What have they even got to deal with this one? Moving forwards with the mosh pit. It's entertainment in the corner. There's nothing you can do here, King. You'd have to pull out a miracle. A lot of the util has been pulled out, but the time ticking away now with the spike. Kills unafforded. No easy access to them. Someone's going to get on top of this one. Tex with the defuse. Sticking now. Half hurt. But with King drop.
No way.
Tex! No way!
That's outrageous!
Get the hell out of here!
Leviatán have just stolen this one away from G2. They had no right.
Cut the music. Cut the music. We're going into OT.
No right whatsoever to this. They didn't believe that this first tap was real. I think that's the big problem.
No way.
And somehow the jiggles from Tex dodged the bullets. It's not as stylish as Neo in the Matrix, but it gets the job done the same way.
It certainly does. I mean, it threw us all for a loop, I think, as well.
They just had no right taking that round. But listen, sometimes stuff like that, it does happen. We're here in OT.
Oh,
and
my
G2,
God.
just like Bind, failed to convert with those map points, and we're headed to overtime.
G2 can't let the reflections of that map one just echo in your minds. Failing to close out that Bind map. Got to convert it here and now, but it's OT. Equal territory when it comes to just the money, the ults, even footing all throughout.
They might have just heard that drone through mid. One of the things that Lev did amazingly in OT on Bind was put in some contact plays, but instead, they're going to drone, they're going to high tide, keep this one safe. And with the nano swarms popped, now they can send in the plant, fairly safely.
G2 didn't have anything for this one. Vulnerability applied to Com.
Yeah,
any more util? Shockey's missing.
Yeah.
G2 not choosing to opt into a bit of a flood defense, instead just waiting it out.
But getting aggressive with their positioning. And this, I think, is the key.
Making sure that they can fight them. Does he getting that connection onto at least two of the players, missing the shots. Comes down to these fights and how you take them together. G2 making sure that they just try and fight this one here, but Valen gets caught just a slight off angle, not aware of the top nest position. 1v2. It's Jonah P. Wants to try and clutch this one up with the util flying forwards in his face.
Nowhere
was shy of the mark for Jonah P. He's forced to stick it to have any chance of winning.
Tex with the play that matters in that round. Yeah, missed Nanoswarm towards the end, but it's his lurk down mid that saved Leviatán in that spot. I can't believe how similar this feels to Bind.
I mean, it can't be happening again, man.
But G2 were also winning almost all of these duels on the fight back in. Aspas found nothing in an aggressive position. The rest of the team got bowled over and Leaf, Tex, the timing could not have been more perfect for him to come down mid and put his team up to 13. They now have the map point, Leviatán.
It's the 26th round here. Just as you mentioned, Josh. Leviatán on them. Map point to get them that edge in the series. 2-1 in a best of 5 would be fantastic for them.
Valen does not want to go quietly here.
Not quite at all. Trying to not make a repeat of what happened on to Binds. No easy kills given over to Vizino. Tagged up by the drone, is forced to evacuate and back away, but there's a heavy presence from Lev. They're stacking this one. Numerous bodies. Could be a tall tale for G2 if they want to try and even take this one, with the alarm bot broken. They know that someone's playing close here. Rapid pings from either side.
I mean, look at the gamble from Lev. They're just stacking all of their players to the A defense. Now, doubts start to creep into their mind. Could there have been some kind of B lurk? But I think that recon just got broken. I believe Com sent the recon, and as soon as it got snapped off, Lev now
pulls him back.
Yeah, thinking about this being a re-hit for sure.
They got the right stack. It could just come down to the guns again.
And this is where G2's slow play does tend to hurt them.
35 seconds. If Com even gets 1 or 2 in this spot right here, could just win the round and win the map. The util's broken. Dizzy dealt with. Still forward! Com sprays down 2 of them as easily as that. With the wingman sent forwards, flying forwards. King, he deals with it with deft hand still. Tex is there. Reset of the aim. 1v1! Another map stolen away.
Calculated. My ultimate is ready. I knew it would always.
And who better than Tex, back to back in overtime, to drive a dagger into the heart of his former squad and take revenge for being eliminated from this team in the past. They were looking to make an upgrade, Bren, when G2 got ascended. They thought, oh, we'll go and pick up Leaf. Superstar player that we've seen before on Cloud9, dominating. Yeah, well, we'll kick this Tex guy out. He's not going to come back to bite us, is he?
And he delivers a knife in the back for Icebox. I mean, it's almost just poetic, the way that Bind ends up finishing. I think it's the exact same scenario as well. What was it?
Yeah,
12-11, gets to OT, Lev bring it over the line in 2. And we see the exact same play out here on Icebox. Of course, the series, plenty more left to be played. It's a best of 5 at the end of the day, and we are going to take a quick break. When we get back, the analysts are also going to get us all nice and ready for that critical, vital map number 4.